They did win.
Can you scoot over and let Reggie move up, please, and stand closer? Sure.
Governor, the Quinnipiac poll has come out. It's got SB5 down a lot farther than it was. Your reaction?
You know, we're going to keep working. We think this is the right thing to create an environment for cities to be able to be successful, giving them the tools. We're making a case. We're going to make it all the way up to Election Day, and we'll see how it all comes out.
It's kind of the way the public's going on it, though. I mean,
look, we do our job, and we have an election. You know, it's the way it works, and we'll see.
If issue 2 fails, do you have a backup plan?
I never think ahead.
Tools for local government?
Well, look, I mean, what I think everybody knows, and you know, that local governments are struggling now to create an environment of job creation. And I just read in the paper, Harrisburg has been taken over by the governor in Pennsylvania. We know the problems in Mansfield. Local governments will have to come to grips with how they control their costs and how they create jobs. I mean, there's a rising concern about, voting for more taxes at the local level. You got to control your costs. So that's what we've given them the tools to do. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
I mean, you don't typically comment on polls, but is this one disheartening?
Hey, do I seem disheartened? I mean, I'm doing my job. And, you do your job, you put your best stuff forward, and you see it, you live by the outcome.
Governor, the message has been out there for a while, and the poll is showing an increasing in opposition with pretty much almost every demographic group opposed. I mean, how do you persuade minds or change those numbers at this point?
Oh, you just work as hard as you can. Try to explain it. You don't quit. I mean, if I'm in a golf game and I'm down 6 holes with 7 to play, I try to play harder.
Do you think there are things people don't know about Senate Bill 5 yet that you want to share with them?
Well, I mean, look, there's just a lot of great misinformation out there, and some of it is a matter of emotion versus kind of facts, and we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I go out and do my job. I tell people what's involved with it, and I explain it to them, and either they'll get it or they don't. I mean, my kids don't get everything I tell them. That's just the way it goes. That's kind of life.
Governor, on the Turnpike, you're talking leasing, you're talking bonding. Is that an indication that you made up your mind that you're going to do something, that the status quo is not acceptable up there?
I thought I answered all that. We don't know what we're going to do yet. You have to look through it. It's sort of like the prison issue. On the prisons, we had originally intended to be able to sell 4 or 5 of them, and we ended up selling 1, Jim. You take your time on this because you don't want to, and let me tell you, I could have done 4 or 5 and taken a big chunk up front, but there's a tail connected to that. So you just want to make sure that when you make a decision like this, it's going to really benefit the folks of the state. Now, it may be that we'll look at it and this isn't the right time. We may find out it's better to bond against the revenue than to lease. I don't know yet, but we're going to look at it thoroughly, and but there's a lot of needs we have in this state for infrastructure. We just have to see what the best deal is for the people of the state. This is not a matter of, of something, some ideological deal. This is about bringing resources to serious challenges that we have in Ohio.
Today you said billions. Do you have any specifics on that number?
No, because I give you a number and then you measure against it. So the answer is no.
The federal government has said,
sit down with Democrats and work out a compromise on congressional district maps?
I think there's ongoing talks. I don't draw lines over there. This has not been my thing. Of course, I always like to see reach some agreement on this. We'll see. We'll see. I think there's efforts to try to reach out and see if there can be a compromise.
the federal government says that they will reconsider the study, the Turnpike study money now. Did you lobby them on that?
I didn't, but I know Jerry Ray talked to people, and the guy basically said the reason why we changed our minds was because of political pressure, and I guess they just changed it back. So we'll get the money to study it, and that's a good thing for us.
I know you have a work group working on these things right now, but do you personally favor a ban on exotic animal ownership in the state?
I want the group to work on this, but I have a really hard time understanding why somebody ought to have a grizzly bear on their private compound, or lions or Bengal tigers. I just don't get it, but it's a complicated issue. That's kind of my gut on the whole thing. Exotic animals, I don't. What is that? A cockatoo, a bird, or something? That's why you have to sort through it. But when it comes to these dangerous animals, I just don't get it. And I think what Jack Hanna's told me, you know, you may have some breeders, you may have some circumstances where it's legitimate for somebody to have it, but they clearly have to be qualified, they have to be certified. And you know, I know the group met yesterday. I haven't gotten a report on what they found, but we need to address it. Look, I think we took a very good first step, and believe me, we had no authority. You can't just put out an order and have nothing grounded in the law. But I'm really proud of the fact that the team studied the statutes, and I mean, everybody, I think, here, all of us are shocked to hear that the Humane Society actually had arrest powers. And so let's use the powers we have, and let's think through what we need to do to get a handle on this, because we're an outlier on this, and I'd like us to be a better leader on this whole thing. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Councilor Governor.